When I first opened my eyes, the back of my head was still throbbing slightly. I lifted my head, and immediately, my gaze fell upon an enormous redwood executive desk. On the desk sat a nameplate of the Dingxing Corporation in elegant French. I was holding a cold fountain pen in my hand. Before I could figure out what was happening, a monotone, mechanical voice, sounding like a script reading, echoed in my mind. Host Jibois has successfully linked to the great literary system. Your core mission is to play the male lead of the Dingxing Corporation, continuously endure physical and mental suffering, and become a Simp Lord. You must patiently wait until the female lead, Liu Ruyan, finally realizes her mistake, thus unlocking the main storyline, and chases after you to the crematorium. I laughed upon hearing this, my finger unconsciously tapping a rhythm on the wooden desk, making a tap-tap sound, as if asking the empty air, "Are you out of your mind? If I'm supposed to be a Simp Lord, why can't I follow my own rhythm? I'm rejecting this role." The mechanical voice paused, seemingly surprised by my stubbornness. Immediately after, a pale blue sphere of light drifted out from the depths of my consciousness, flickering erratically as if breathing. It spoke again. "Host, your current identity is the actual power holder of the Dingxing Corporation." The original subject died because he saw the female lead, Liu Ruyan, and her assistant, Dingxing, taking intimate photos, and in a burst of overwhelming public indignation, he suddenly dropped dead right there. I rubbed my pulsating temple, finding the original subject to be excessively weak-willed. I immediately urged the system to stop beating around the bush and quickly explain all the mess he had left behind, so I would know what kind of chaos I was burdened with. The system then began to prattle on. It turned out the original subject was indeed a bona fide Simp Lord. When Liu Ruyan said she wanted to start her own company, he immediately, without a second thought, took out all his savings, and even the contingency fund his parents gave him, throwing all the money into helping her establish the company. But Liu Ruyan knew nothing about management and just issued chaotic orders every day. The original subject, thrilled, gave up his good job and went to Liu Ruyan's company to work as a free CEO, managing everything for her, both inside and out. Later, his parents realized Liu Ruyan was not sincere and opposed the marriage. The original subject, being the way he was, directly eloped with Liu Ruyan, cutting ties with his family. The result was that Liu Ruyan claimed she was still young and that having an intimate relationship too soon was inappropriate. The original subject not only didn't object but agreed wholeheartedly, thus maintaining a marriage in name only, ultimately dying of anger and frustration. After listening, I could only tightly furrow my brow, and just as I was about to mock him, the system interrupted. According to the original plot, there will later be a scenario where the female lead, Liu Ruyan, is kidnapped, and you must rush out to shield her from a knife, suffering serious injuries and being hospitalized. I immediately cut it off. Shield her from a knife? I'm the most afraid of pain. If you dare arrange this scenario, I'll quit immediately. Anyway, you said as long as I reach the grand finale it's fine. What's wrong with changing the plot sequence? Are you forcing me to be as stupid as the original subject? The system was speechless for a long time before stammering. This doesn't quite fit the plot's established setting. The setting is dead, the person is alive. I spun the pen in my hand, my voice firm, either my way, or find someone else. I won't be a Simp Lord. The blue sphere of light flickered several times, and the system's voice was clearly suppressing its frustration. Fine, then I'll leave it to the host to handle. But regarding the hidden plot line, you now need to take the intimate photos that Dingxing sent to the office and confront Liu Ruyan with them. Liu Ruyan will say she was just pretending to be Dingxing's girlfriend and will advise you to be generous. Dingxing will also chime in with some manipulative, green tea type of words. Before he finished, I let out a contemptuous laugh. Please, I'm already tired of that outdated emotional abuse trick. Don't worry about the original plot anymore, just watch my next move. I opened the unnamed folder on the screen, and immediately over a dozen photos appeared. I didn't even bother to lift my eyelids. They were all intimate photos of Dingxing and Liu Ruyan. Either Dingxing had his arm around her shoulder, or the two were leaning their heads together, looking at a phone. Although there were no overtly excessive actions, anyone with eyes could see it wasn't right. Next to it was an accompanying text message. The sender used a burner account. The one who is unloved is the true homewrecker. If you truly love him, hurry up and leave him. I scanned the message and laughed. I could figure out with my toes that this was a trick by that brat Ditungqing, deliberately sent to provoke. Does he want me to get as furious as the original subject? The system mumbled in my head, "Host, according to the original script, at this moment you should be so angry that you smash a glass, and then run off to confront Liu Ruyan." Confront her for what? It's so beneath me. I said as I selected all the photos, compressed them, and renamed the file to Department Q3 Announcement. I immediately opened the Dingxing Corporation's chat group for department heads. This group was full of department leaders, so the speed of information spread was undeniably fast. I typed and sent a line of text, "Important document. All department heads must immediately relay this to all staff and strictly implement it." Less than a minute after I sent it, a barrage of read notifications appeared in the group. I intently watched the screen, counting down 10 seconds. Right at the last moment allowed for message retraction, I hit recall, and immediately sent the real Q3 announcement, adding an apology. "I accidentally sent the wrong document just now. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience." I was clear in my mind, just 1 minute was enough. With the speed at which gossip spreads in the company, those photos must now be frantically shared in small group chats. Moreover, the fact that Liu Ruyan and I were husband and wife had always been kept secret by her. The original subject was a Simp Lord who obediently listened to her. Hardly anyone in the company knew, besides Ditungqing. Usually, people only saw him being overly attentive to Liu Ruyan, and behind his back, they called him the #1 Simp Lord of Dingxing. As expected, less than half an hour later, the office door was kicked open with a bang. Liu Ruyan rushed in, her high heels clacking, and slammed her hand down hard on my desk. Her voice nearly exploded. "Jibua, are the rumors about Ditungqing in the company being spread by you?" I remained reclined in my executive chair, unmoving, even spinning the pen on the desk a few times, feigning indifference. "What rumors? How would I know? Don't rush, sit down, have a glass of water, and speak slowly." As soon as this sentence left my mouth, Liu Ruyan's face turned even redder. She pointed directly at me. "I just walked past the work area and heard them saying Ditungqing relies on me to climb up, and that our relationship is inappropriate. Everyone knows you've never liked Ditungqing. You definitely spread the rumors behind my back. I'm telling you, words can't be spoken carelessly. An upright person fears no slander. If the two of you have nothing to hide, the rumors will naturally die down. Besides, I'm busy with company matters all day long. Where would I find the free time to spread such trivial things?" I put the pen down and replied nonchalantly. Liu Ruyan stomped her foot in anger. "I don't care whether it was you or not. You must immediately summon the department heads and clarify this matter for Ditungqing and me. The entire company must know that our relationship is innocent." I stroked my chin, pretending to contemplate for a few seconds, then nodded. "Fine, I'll arrange it right away. You'll definitely have an answer before closing time." Liu Ruyan let out a cold snort, turned around, and walked out, not even bothering to close the door. I watched her retreating figure, opened the department heads group, and typed out a statement to send. "Recently, it has been discovered that some employees are gossiping about the relationship between Assistant Ditungqing and Ms. Liu Ruyan. This is an official announcement. Ms. Liu Ruyan has clearly stated that she only regards Assistant Ditungqing as a younger brother. Please do not believe or spread rumors. All department heads must immediately relay this to all staff." Right after, the system panicked and cried out, "Host, this isn't clarification. This is clearly adding fuel to the fire. Calling him a younger brother will only lead to more misunderstandings." Exactly, that's the effect I want. I leaned back against the chair and smiled. Didn't they say the original subject should be generous before? Now it's their turn to taste the flavor of rumors and see if they can be generous. Furthermore, every sentence I said is what Liu Ruyan previously said to the original subject. She can't find anything wrong even if she wanted to fault me. Sure enough, less than 10 minutes later, the office door was pushed open again. Liu Ruyan furiously stormed in, holding her phone. "Jibua, is this what you call clarification? The company is in even more chaos now. You did this on purpose, didn't you?" I didn't even bother to look up, merely flipping through the report in my hands. "What's wrong?" Didn't I just say exactly what you once told me? You, don't try to justify it. I never said that. Are you sure you didn't say it? I slowly took out my phone and played the audio recording that I had asked the system to extract earlier. Liu Ruyan's voice was heard from the recording when she bought a gift for Ditengqing, saying, "Ji Bua, don't misunderstand. I only see Xiao Qing as a younger brother. Isn't it perfectly normal for an older sister to give a gift to her younger brother?" Liu Ruyan, as soon as she heard the recording, her face instantly turned pale, her lips trembling, unable to utter a word. I put the phone back in my pocket, slowly saying, "If you feel this is still not enough for clarification, I can send this entire recording to the group for everyone to hear." "Enough!" Liu Ruyan yelled through gritted teeth. "You are not allowed to interfere in this matter anymore." With that, she turned and fled, not even daring to slam the door shut this time. 3 days later was the 3rd wedding anniversary of Liu Ruyan and me. According to the original script, the original subject had already reserved a table at an expensive, but not very good high-end restaurant in the city center, and had prepared fresh flowers to wait for Liu Ruyan. The result was that she basically didn't bother to show up. I was not that foolish. I took out my phone and texted Liu Ruyan, "Today is our 3-year wedding anniversary. Let's have dinner together tonight. I've sent you the location." The location I intentionally chose was a street-side grilled food stall behind the company. That stall was famous for its delicious skewer aroma that could travel 3 blocks, and it was many times tastier and cheaper than that pile of cold Western food. About 2 minutes later, Liu Ruyan only replied with one word, "Okay." As if typing one more word would cause her to lose a piece of meat. I looked at the screen and smiled, put my phone in my pocket, and leisurely walked toward the grill stall when it was time. Just as I found a seat, the familiar owner approached. "The usual?" 80%, yes. Give me 10 lamb skewers, 10 beef skewers, and a cold bottle of beer. Oh, and add 2 grilled beef tendon skewers, with extra chili. No sooner had I finished speaking than the system jumped up in my head. "Host, why did you run off here? According to the script, you should be waiting at that high-end restaurant. The original subject booked the table a week in advance. It's useless to book, she won't come anyway. Why regret the money?" I took the cold bottle of beer from the owner's hand, smiling faintly. Besides, aren't these fragrant grilled skewers much better than that cold Western food? Why should I put myself out? Just as I finished speaking, my phone vibrated. A message from Liu Ruyan arrived. "Xiao Qing was hospitalized. I can't make it. Let's do it another time." I was chewing a hot piece of lamb skewer and laughing. "See? I told you, she wouldn't come. And she's pulling out this stale excuse. If it's not for Ditengqing, who else could it be?" She stood me up, and I'm not even surprised. The system fell silent, likely struck dumb by my accuracy. I leisurely ate every last skewer, let out a satisfied burp, and then hailed a taxi, giving the address of the hospital where Ditengqing was staying. I wanted to see what kind of spectacle these two were planning to put on now. I found the room, pushed the door open, and sure enough, saw Liu Ruyan sitting beside the bed, holding an apple peeler, while Ditengqing lay in bed in a cast, his face projecting an air of utter misery. Liu Ruyan saw me, the apple in her hand froze, and she frowned in accusation. "What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you I couldn't go out today? Are you coming here to cause trouble for Xiao Qing again?" I didn't acknowledge her, walked up to the bedside, stared at Ditengqing's elevated leg, and asked, "How were you injured? Is it serious?" Before Ditengqing could speak, Liu Ruyan quickly interjected. "Xiao Qing fell while working overtime at the company, so it counts as a work-related injury. I'm here representing the company to look after him. Is there a problem with that?" "No problem at all." I deliberately drew out my voice. If he fell during overtime, it naturally counts as a work-related injury. The company must compensate him, and compensation will certainly be provided. Upon hearing this, Ditengqing immediately feigned shyness. "Director Ji, there's no need, sir. It's just a slight fracture, I can handle it myself. I've already inconvenienced you by forcing you to visit me personally. Oh, and by the way, I didn't know today was your and Sister Ruyan's wedding anniversary. It's all my fault for disturbing you too." This statement was nothing short of implying that I was intentionally making trouble. I looked him straight in the eye and smirked. You said you didn't know, but I never told you today was our wedding anniversary, so how do you know? Ditengqing's eyes immediately wavered, his hands unconsciously clutching the bedsheet, unable to utter a word for a long time. Liu Ruyan quickly stepped in to explain. I told him. Don't make things difficult for Xiaoqing. I'm not making things difficult. I pulled out my phone and directly called my secretary. I intentionally raised my voice on the phone. Hello, help me with 2 things. First, classify Assistant Ditengqing's case as a work-related injury, with all medical expenses covered by the company. Second, have a commendation banner made. The content should express appreciation for Assistant Ditengqing's dedication to his profession, highlighting that he was injured while working diligently. In addition, prepare a 50,000 yuan bonus. Announce it company-wide tomorrow so everyone can follow his example. On the phone, the secretary replied, Got it, Director G. I hung up, turned to look at Ditengqing. His eyes were wide open, and his mouth hung open for a long time before he finally managed to close it. Director G, this isn't necessary, is it? Why isn't it necessary? I patted his shoulder, my voice serious. You're a meritorious employee who got hurt while working overtime. The entire company needs to know about it. Once you're discharged, I'll even lead the department heads to welcome you back and host a celebration. Liu Ruyan, sitting next to him, was also stunned. Just a moment ago, she was wholeheartedly defending Ditengqing, but now she could only gape, unable to utter a single word of protest. After all, she couldn't openly tell me not to commend her younger brother. Seeing the 2 of them frozen like statues, I laughed inwardly, turned, and walked out the door. As I reached the door, I turned back and added, Oh, right, tomorrow, please have the nurse send me a copy of Ditengqing's injury report. The company needs it for our records. Please remember to bring it. With that, I closed the door with a slam, leaving the 2 people in the hospital room staring at each other, utterly speechless. They wanted to play mind games with me? I'd show them what it means to turn the tables on your host. Just a few days later, Ditengqing was discharged. I had already arranged for the administration department to organize a grand welcoming ceremony. A red carpet was laid out in front of the Dingxing Corporation building, stretching from the main entrance all the way to the elevator. On both sides, department heads in formal attire stood in neat rows. The petite receptionist held a banner, clearly printed with the words, Warmest welcome to Assistant Ditengqing on his healthy return. Even the electronic screen at the company entrance continuously displayed the message, honoring Ditengqing, a model of professional dedication. As Ditengqing walked to the entrance and saw the sight, his face turned ashen, his steps halted, and he nearly collapsed. He tugged at my sleeve, his voice trembling, Director G, this is too much. There's no need to make such a big deal out of it. Why not? I shook his hand off, deliberately raising my voice so all the surrounding department heads could hear. You are a dedicated employee injured while working overtime. This ceremony is a well-deserved reward for you. If all company employees were as dedicated as you, Dingxing would have been publicly listed long ago. Someone immediately chimed in, That's right. Assistant Ditengqing, Director G values you, which is why he arranged this. You must set an example for everyone, right? Ditengqing's face alternated between red and white. Under the mocking and spectating eyes of everyone, he gritted his teeth and stepped onto the red carpet, looking no different from a prisoner walking to the execution block. I watched from behind, a smile nearly reaching my ears. This whole act was designed to make him utterly mortified. Soon after, the secretary ran in to report, Director G, there are a few reporters outside who want to interview you, asking why the company values its employees so highly. They also want to interview Assistant Ditengqing. Not me, I'm busy looking at reports. I didn't bother to lift my head, instructing the media department to handle it, emphasizing the company's commitment to humanity and employee welfare. As for Ditengqing, let him handle it himself, as long as he doesn't cause trouble for the company. The secretary replied, Yes, Director G, and withdrew. Inside my head, the system whispered, trembling, Host, your move is too vicious. Tungqing must be going insane right now. It's better if he goes insane. Who told him to pretend to be injured and try to provoke the relationship between Liu Ruyan and me? As I spoke, I opened the surveillance folder on my computer. Inside was the video clip I had extracted earlier. Tungqing, in the deserted stairwell, looked around for a while, then intentionally flopped onto a step, and then calmly pulled out his phone to make a call. Less than 10 minutes later, Liu Ruyan rushed over in a panic. I compressed the video into a small file and used a trainee's burner account to send it to the new employees chat group. This group was where they usually gossiped privately, and news spread even faster there than in the official groups. Sure enough, within minutes, the entire group exploded. OMG, isn't that Tungqing? Did he fall on purpose? No wonder Director G organized such a grand commendation. He really did fake his injury. Someone in the group said that Director Liu ran so fast at the time, maybe she knew all along? That's truly disgusting, using a work-related injury as an excuse to beg for sympathy. As expected, less than half an hour later, Liu Ruyan kicked the door open again, clutching her phone, pointing the screen toward me, and yelling, "Jibua, did you send the surveillance video to the group? Are you intentionally harming Xiaoqing? Don't rush." I leaned back in my chair, picked up the teacup on the desk, took a sip, and said calmly, "I just saw this in the group myself. I'm preparing to deal with it now. Someone must be deliberately spreading rumors. I will immediately post an official notice to clarify." Liu Ruyan glared at me. "You better do what you say and not let Xiaoqing suffer any more injustice." With that, she angrily left. I watched her retreating figure, opened the department heads group, drafted a statement, and sent it. Recently, fabricated rumors have appeared in the company alleging that Assistant Tungqing faked his injury. We are hereby attaching Assistant Tungqing's injury report and welcome everyone to verify its authenticity. Please do not believe or spread rumors to avoid affecting company order. Immediately, the system grumbled, "Host, is this what you call clarification? You didn't even say the report was real." I didn't lie, I was just reporting. I calmly closed the chat window, waiting for the next scene of the drama. Sure enough, the next morning, the new employees chat group exploded again. A colleague said I just checked the medical records of hospital number 3, and there is absolutely no doctor surnamed Z who signed that injury report. Another person added, "Hey, I'm the vice president of hospital number 3. I checked, and that doctor resigned half a year ago." The group immediately descended into chaos, with everyone discussing that Tungqing's injury report was fake. Taking advantage of the surging public opinion, I directly posted an announcement on the company's OA system. Following an investigation, the injury report provided by Assistant Tungqing contains serious discrepancies and shows signs of faking work-related injury documentation. Effective this month, Assistant Tungqing is temporarily suspended from all duties pending investigation. Further action will be taken after a clear investigation. This announcement was up for barely 2 hours before it was taken down. I didn't need to guess to know that Liu Ruyan had found someone in the technical department to do it, but I wasn't annoyed. Instead, I was delighted. The goal had been achieved. Tungqing had completely lost face in the company, and even with Liu Ruyan's desperate protection, she would only gain a reputation for blatant favoritism. Not long after, the annual corporate event arrived. The Dingxing Corporation organized a team-building activity, with the location set at Snow Mountain. I had already instructed the administration department to book a luxury hotel at the foot of the mountain and contacted a professional rescue team to be on standby. After all, according to the original script, Tungqing and Liu Ruyan were definitely going to cause trouble. As soon as the plane landed and we entered the hotel lobby, the crystal lights were dazzlingly bright. I had just put down my luggage when I saw Liu Ruyan and Tungqing whispering together in a corner. Tungqing even lightly patted the back of Liu Ruyan's hand, their intimate demeanor as if they feared no one would notice. I merely gave them a brief glare, pretended not to see them, and went straight into the elevator. The show hadn't even started, there was no need to rush. The next morning, the guide led us by bus to the foot of the mountain. As soon as the bus stopped, the cold wind, carrying bits of snow, blew straight down my collar. I quickly pulled my down jacket tighter. The guide repeatedly reminded us through the loudspeaker, "Everyone, please pay attention. The snow mountain terrain is very complex, and the signal is poor. You must stick with the group, absolutely no one is allowed to separate. The consequences of getting lost are unimaginable." The group began to climb toward the summit. The snow crunched beneath our feet. I walked in the middle, occasionally stopping to wait for the colleagues panting behind me. When we reached the flat area at the top of the mountain, the guide began to call out names for roll call. "Marketing department is here, technical department Old Zhang is here, Ditengqing." His name was called 3 times, but there was no sign of him. Xiao Wang from the marketing department raised his hand. "Director Ji, while we were climbing, Ditengqing said he needed to use the restroom. He said goodbye to me and turned back. I thought he would catch up quickly." The guide's face immediately turned pale. He quickly pulled out his phone to call Ditengqing, but the loudspeaker only echoed the cold mechanical voice. "The number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later." The colleagues around us immediately panicked, some whispering worriedly, "Nothing bad has happened, has it? What should we do if he gets lost on the snow mountain?" I stepped forward and patted the guide's shoulder, keeping my voice steady. "Don't panic. I anticipated that someone might separate from the group, so I had the administration department pre-book a professional rescue team. They are waiting at the foot of the mountain and can go up to search at any time. But everyone shouldn't worry too much. Maybe Ditengqing has already returned to the hotel and is waiting for us when we come down." Hearing me say this, my colleagues immediately let out a sigh of relief. Someone praised me. "Director Ji is truly thoughtful. We're lucky you prepared in advance, otherwise we would be in chaos." The guide nodded repeatedly. "That's right, thank you, Director Ji. So, we will continue as planned. I will try to contact Ditengqing again." The trip continued smoothly. Aside from one missing person, everyone was having a good time. Upon returning to the hotel at the foot of the mountain, the guide took roll call again, and the result was that Liu Ruyan was also missing. I didn't need to think twice. She must have secretly gone to look for Ditengqing. The guide nervously spun around. "Oh dear, what should we do now? It's too dangerous for the two of them to be on the mountain at night." I leaned against a pillar in the hotel lobby and slowly said, "Perhaps she found it too cold on the mountain and came back early to go shopping. Women can't help themselves when they see a specialty store. Don't worry too much. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Maybe they'll return on their own." The guide was skeptical but had no other choice and nodded. "Then we will stick to the schedule tomorrow. I will contact the rescue team again." On the morning of the 3rd day, the atmosphere in the lobby was clearly different, much more tense. The guide held the loudspeaker and called out, "Ditengqing, Liu Ruyan, has anyone seen them?" He called repeatedly, but no one answered. Colleagues huddled together, whispering all sorts of rumors. I stood on the spiral staircase looking down at the crowd. "Don't panic. The rescue team has already gone up the mountain to search. Today's itinerary remains the same. We will definitely have news tonight. I repeat once more, everyone must stick close to the guide and absolutely not act on your own. This is for everyone's safety." As I finished speaking, I glanced at my watch. The bus was already waiting outside. "Quickly get on the bus." As the bus began to move, I caught a glimpse of a few female colleagues in the back row whispering to each other. They were undoubtedly discussing Liu Ruyan and Ditengqing again. I ignored it. 2 brainless people were enough for this group. As long as the others didn't cause more trouble, I was fine. Near noon, the hotel unexpectedly called me, reporting that Ditengqing had returned. I immediately told the driver to stop the bus by the side of the road and took a taxi back to the hotel myself. As soon as I stepped into the lobby, I saw Ditengqing hunched over on the sofa, his neck tucked in, with blood stains on his clothes. I immediately raised my voice. "Ditengqing, where have you been these past 2 days?" The guide repeatedly reminded everyone to stay with the group. "Did you treat it as just wind passing by your ear? The company paid for the rescue team. All costs will be directly deducted from your salary." As my words rang out, the entire lobby immediately fell silent, and all eyes turned toward Ditengqing. He lowered his head even further, his fingers tightly twisting the corner of his shirt. He stammered for a long time, unable to utter a single coherent sentence. I waved my hand. Everyone, please return to your business. Then I pulled Di Tengqing by the arm, dragging him into the corridor to a blind spot away from the surveillance camera. It was so quiet here that I could clearly hear his ragged breathing. I lowered my voice and said, "Where is Liu Ruyan? You went with her. Don't play dumb with me." Beads of sweat the size of soybeans immediately appeared on his forehead. In the heated hotel, he looked even more abnormal. He stuttered, "Director G, I really don't know. She and I got lost and separated." I looked him straight in the eyes, my voice icy. "You better truly not know. If anything happens to Liu Ruyan, can you bear the responsibility? I hope she is still alive by then to testify for you." Di Tengqing heard this and his entire body trembled, his head bowed low. Clearly, he was hiding quite a few things. Not long after I left the hotel corridor, the rescue team called. They had found Liu Ruyan in a mountain crevice. She was unconscious and was being transported to the nearest hospital. The hospital reported that Liu Ruyan had to be admitted to the ICU for emergency treatment. After hearing the news, I chuckled mockingly to the system. "See? I told you. Di Tengqing, that kid fundamentally doesn't care about her." The day after, I intentionally spent half a day going to the hospital. Just as I reached the door of the regular ward, Liu Ruyan had been transferred out of the ICU in the early morning. I saw Di Tengqing sitting by the bed, holding an apple peeler, his demeanor so attentive that he was more considerate than he would be to his own mother. Last time, Liu Ruyan was peeling the apple for him. This time it was reversed. Indeed, fortune rotates. I pushed the door open, intentionally stepping heavily on the floor. Di Tengqing looked up and saw me, his whole body trembling, and the apple peel fell off with a tap. Liu Ruyan also opened her eyes, her face as white as a sheet of paper. Seeing me, she frowned, and just as she was about to speak, I cut her off. "Hold on." I walked to the bedside, knocked the apple out of Di Tengqing's hand, and said nonchalantly, "Director Liu is awake, so let's talk about the main business. Why did you leave the group without permission? Do you know how much the company spent on the rescue team? And what exactly is going on between you and Di Tengqing? You two were on the mountain for so long, how do you intend to explain this?" Liu Ruyan's lips trembled, her eyes avoiding mine, not daring to look straight ahead. Di Tengqing quickly put the knife down and leaned closer to the bed. "Director G, this has nothing to do with Sister Ruyan, it's all my fault. I left the group without permission. Sister Ruyan only went looking for me because she was worried. If you want to pursue accountability, only hold me responsible. Please don't make things difficult for her. You'd best keep your mouth shut." I let out a cold, mocking laugh, staring intently at Di Tengqing. "Worry about yourself before worrying about others. The company hasn't settled the matter of you faking a work-related injury last time. Your year-end bonus has been completely deducted. You still haven't compensated for the rescue costs this time, and now you want to take the blame for someone else? With what?" As I spoke, Di Tengqing's face turned red then white, his mouth agape for a long time, unable to utter a single word. In the end, he could only bow his head, shrinking like a scolded child. I turned to Liu Ruyan and said, "There's a nurse here to take care of you. Director Liu doesn't need you. Leave now and don't cause any more trouble here." "But Sister Ruyan..." He tried to argue. "No buts about it." I glared, my voice chilling. He immediately tucked his tail and ran off with his belongings, scurrying away like a lost dog. In the room, only Liu Ruyan, myself, and the beeping of the monitor remained. The atmosphere immediately became heavy with silence. I pulled up a chair, sat down, picked up the half-peeled apple Di Tengqing had left, took a bite, and slowly said, "Stop pretending. I know everything about him stealing your supplies and leaving you behind on the mountain." After returning to the hotel, the first thing he did wasn't to seek help but to hide in his room trembling. "If the rescue team hadn't found you in time, you'd be in the morgue now, not lying here." Liu Ruyan's body clearly trembled, and tears unexpectedly streamed down her face. How could he treat me like that? I clearly went looking for him because... That's called bringing it upon yourself. I tossed the apple core into the trash. Last time he faked an injury, you shielded him. He was ambiguous with you, and you didn't mind. Now that he's betrayed you, who can you blame? The original subject once treated you like a treasure, but you didn't cherish it and insisted on clinging to Ditungqing. The result is this current predicament. Isn't this entirely your own doing? Liu Ruyan cried even more fiercely, but I felt no pity. A person deserving of pity often has hateful qualities. I stood up and straightened my suit jacket, saying, I didn't come here to comfort you. I just wanted to inform you that I'm about to resign from Dingxing. I'm too lazy to interfere in the matter between you and Ditungqing. As for him, the company's legal department has already prepared the documents. The crimes of faking a work-related injury and abandoning his post, causing losses to the company, are enough to make him suffer for the rest of his life. You choose whether to protect him or protect the company. After saying this, I walked toward the door, then turned back and added, That's right, if you still intend to shield him as before, Dingxing won't be far from collapse. Don't regret it when that time comes. Leaving the hospital, I immediately texted my secretary to prepare my letter of resignation, then returned to my apartment. I still had the millions of savings the original owner left behind. After resigning, I could leisurely lie around waiting for the storyline to end. Later, I heard from old colleagues that Liu Ruyan truly stuck to her guns and tried her best to protect Ditungqing, forcing the legal department to withdraw the lawsuit. The core staff members in the company became disillusioned and resigned one after another. Efficiency dropped by half, and Dingxing was almost on the verge of bankruptcy. After hearing this, I only felt gratified. This was exactly what they deserved. After resigning, I holed up in my apartment all day, ordering takeout when I woke up, and scrolling through Dingxing's gossip groups when I was bored. I heard that to protect Ditungqing, Liu Ruyan had arguments with major shareholders that became public knowledge, and the company's performance got worse and worse. I watched and found it funny. Life now was much more comfortable than when I was working. That day, I was lounging on the sofa, gnawing on fried chicken, when the system suddenly spoke up, Host, the final plot point is coming up. Ditungqing has colluded with Dingxing's competitor, kidnapped Liu Ruyan, and is about to call you to demand a ransom. I chewed my piece of chicken and smirked, asking, How much is the ransom? Does he really dare to break the law? As soon as I finished speaking, my phone rang, showing an unfamiliar number. I answered, and a hoarse voice came through, clearly using a voice changer, Jibua, Liu Ruyan is in my hands. If you want her alive, prepare 5 million in cash, alone. Before he could finish speaking, I immediately hung up, and casually dragged the number into my block list. The entire action was seamless, without a hint of hesitation. The system instantly wailed inside my head, Host, why did you hang up? What if they kill her? In the original text, you were supposed to frantically prepare the money and go save her all by yourself. Save her? I wasn't insane. I tossed the chicken bone into the trash, picked up my phone, and opened my contacts. 5 million. Is Ditungqing's brain fried? Does he really think I'm as foolish as the original subject? If I have that kind of money, I'd rather spend it on several more meals of fried chicken. As I spoke, I scrolled to the number of the city police chief. The original subject had once done him a great favor, and their relationship was quite good. I called, and before the phone could ring twice, someone picked up. Chief Lee busy? I leaned back on the sofa, my tone nonchalant. I have something to report. Someone just called me claiming they kidnapped Liu Ruyan and demanded 5 million yuan ransom, also telling me to go alone. I've hung up. I have the call recording and history. I'll send them over for you to see. On the other end, Chief Lee's voice immediately became serious. Kidnapping? Don't worry, send me all the recordings and call logs. I will immediately dispatch a special operations team. If they mentioned a location, let me know right away so we can deploy. He didn't get a chance to tell me, but I'm guessing it's those abandoned warehouses in the north of the city. The news often reported things happening there before. I said as I forwarded all the recordings and call logs to him. Sorry for the trouble, Chief Lee. I'll leave this to you and your officers. I won't get involved. Lest I get in the way. Rest assured, we will definitely rescue the person. With that, Chief Lee hung up, likely going to mobilize his forces. The system still muttered in my head, "Host, aren't you worried about Liu Ruyan? What if they really kill her? If they kill her, it's her life to lose." I opened my takeout app, getting ready to order another cup of milk tea. She chose to get entangled with Ditengqing. Now she's been tied up after he colluded with outsiders. What does that have to do with me? I'm being extremely decent by not trying to take advantage of the chaos, and you want me to go save her? I'll be eating and sleeping on schedule for the next few days, not even bothering to look into the kidnapping. It wasn't until the third day that the news reported the police had successfully rescued a kidnapped woman and arrested several suspects. The ringleader, Ditengqing, had fled and was currently under intense pursuit. Only then did I know Liu Ruyan was safe. Another day passed, and the news updated again. The report stated that Ditengqing had been arrested at the border, carrying a sum of money he intended to use to escape. I smirked at the text on the screen. This brat wasn't just foolish, he actually dared to commit a felony. Serving jail time would be fitting. The system in my head sighed softly, "Host, the way you handled this deviated too far from the original principle, but it was certainly satisfying." Of course. I took a sip of my milk tea. Why should I follow the principle? I'm not a simp lord. It's not worth putting myself through hardship for someone else. Besides, the police were involved. Why would I risk my own life? Isn't that just being stupid? Not long after the kidnapping incident, I was lounging on my sofa, sunbathing, scrolling through my phone with a cold Coca-Cola. The screen was filled with news of the manhunt. The former assistant of the Dingxing Corporation, Ditengqing, was arrested for kidnapping and misappropriation of company assets. The comments section was full of insults, saying he deserved it. I watched and felt pleased. Just then, my phone rang, showing an unknown number. I thought it was the food delivery driver, so I casually picked up. Unexpectedly, Liu Ruyan's voice, choked with sobs and tears, came through the speaker. "Jibua, I'm sorry. Everything is my fault. I was blind before and couldn't see Xiao Qing's true face, nor did I cherish you. Can we start over?" I immediately frowned, even the can of Coca-Cola in my hand paused. What was wrong with this woman? She just escaped death and now wants to come back. Did she forget how she treated the original subject? I flatly cut her off. "You have the wrong number. I don't know anyone named Jibua you're talking about." Liu Ruyan continued to cry hysterically. "No, I didn't call the wrong number. Jibua, I know you're still angry, but from now on, I will definitely change. Can we manage the company together and have a good life together? I swear I will never interact with Xiao Qing again." Don't waste your breath. My voice turned cold. First, I am not the Jibua you know. Second, I have zero interest in you or your company. Third, don't call me again from now on, it's annoying. With that, I immediately hung up, and conveniently put the number on the blacklist. Talking to her for another second felt like a waste of time. As soon as the call ended, the mechanical voice of the system sounded in my head. "Host Jibua has found that the main storyline is complete. Completion progress, 100%. You may choose to leave the current world at any time." I paused for a moment, then stretched lazily, stood up from the sofa, and walked over to the window. Outside, the sun was setting. The orange-red evening light stretched across the rooftops, and the wind rustling outside made the leaves below rustle. My time in this world, refusing to be a simp lord, dealing with Ditengqing, and watching Liu Ruyan reap what she sowed, though somewhat troublesome, I never once had to put myself out. "Finally, it's done," I murmured. From the depths of my consciousness, the pale blue sphere of light began to flash. The system prompted the countdown to departure. 3, 2, 1. The scene before my eyes gradually blurred. The sofa in the apartment, the heat from the half-drunk cup of coffee. Everything seemed to be covered by a hazy filter and slowly disappeared. In my mind flashed images of the original subject's resentful life and the final fates of Liu Ruyan and Ditengqing. I could only conclude that one reaps what one sows. The ending they received was the one they chose. I had no lingering regrets. After all, this world was just a temporary stop for me. Compared to being a simp and begging for reconciliation, I would rather return to my own world, eat a proper home-cooked meal, and have a peaceful sleep without worrying about dealing with others. When the last light faded, I felt my body become light. The system's voice in my ear also gradually vanished. Before leaving, I thought to myself that I would definitely never get involved with any so-called great literary worlds again. The Simp Lord plot? Anyone who likes it can go play the role. I'm only living my own comfortable life.